Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so this is going to be a singles storyline. So sometimes these have romance in them, sometimes not. The bottom line is we assume that our lead character is single. So that's how we begin these. And I want to start out with one of our map decks and see what direction is our. Oh my! I'm sorry, I'm not taking any of that because that wasn't a shuffle as much as it was a clumsy movement on my part. But I want to see which direction our character may be going in. Okay, so. Wow, I just can't seem to shuffle properly right now. Well, we'll keep them. We have goblins and we have follow the leader. Card 5 and card 40 for our lead character. So we start out with some kind of energy of, I'm going to say there is worry here. And I think someone's answer to squashing the worry is to say, okay, wait a minute. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. There have been other people who've walked this earth who've probably dealt with similar situations that I have. I almost feel like our lead character maybe got slammed with some upsetting news, some bad news, some stressful news. And for a moment they were like, ew, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do about this? How am I going to press forward? What direction should I take? What avenue should I take? And then they're like, wait. Just a minute. It can't be that hard because I can't be the only person this has ever happened to. And other people probably have managed to deal with whatever it is I've got to deal with. So let me go ahead and let me look up, let me Google the question. Whatever it is that I'm dealing with that's stressing me out right now, let me just go ahead and gather some information. Let me see what the experts are saying. Let me see who's started a blog on that particular topic and see what information is out there. Let me check YouTube videos and see, right now I am picturing like once upon a personal story here coming up. You might want to fast forward, but I'll make it quick. Once upon a time, my brother decided that we should do some plumbing together, he and I. And you know what? We did great. We did things I didn't know we could do. But we were pretty soon renting a diamond blade saw and cutting up his driveway and pickaxing our way down to where there was a broken water line, and we were splicing it together. And let me tell you, that was quite the experience. And because I'm the sibling closest in age to him, I got tapped on the shoulder to help him with this. And I do not enjoy plumbing, but it was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? No plumbers were available. What do we do? You know what? We can figure this out. So a lot of research later and poof, we did it. So we followed the leaders, right? We looked up the information. We found great YouTube videos, by the way. And we figured out how to do it. And that was years ago. And the leak has always been fixed and the driveway is patched back together. So what I'm going to say, not suggesting anybody should go do their own plumbing, but that's just a personal anecdote because it's a great example of getting stressed out and then finding the right answers and following the leaders. Who's done it before? Who's the expert? Who can we turn to for some advice sometimes? So I like that because it puts things back in perspective. Like it's not always just like, crap, my life fell apart and now it's just me standing here holding all these broken pieces and I've just got to figure out how to do it myself. Sometimes we turn to other people and say, hey, how did you do that? Hey, don't be ashamed to reach out and ask somebody else for their help, their advice. If there's something that you'd never done before or something has just fallen apart, this might be surprised. Our lead character, either they're the ones who are going to have someone turn to them for some advice and some help, or they are meeting a group of soulmates or unexpectedly because of some upheaval, some problem, some stressful thing, when they turn to someone else who has some expertise and say, hey, I wanted to pick your brain on this a little bit. It's amazing how human beings want to help each other out. I think inherently most people, especially if you come to somebody and say, hey, you're so good at that. Like, how did you do that? Like, I've got this problem right now and I don't know how to get through it. Could you give me any advice? This is like the floodgates open and we could form new friendships or new romantic partnerships as well, simply by being open enough to say, you got this amazing skill set. I can see it in you. And I am in need of someone's great advice and skill. Could you tell me what you would advise here? And that can like totally, because you're approaching somebody with respect, right? And of course they're warm-hearted about that. It's like, wow, you want to know how I did that? Well, sure. Let me take you under my wing. Let me help you out. In fact, let me swing on by. In fact, hey, can I help you with it? Hey, do you want to get together? I mean, it's interesting how not being an island of misery and instead reaching out to someone for advice or expertise when it's needed can actually really garner a lot of amazing friendship and amazing interactions, because something else comes out of this. So we start out with worry, maybe something stressful, and then we turn to someone for their great advice and their skill set, and that person could very well become a very important individual in our lives. Very cool way to start. JPV, thank you, sweetheart. You're an angel. Thank you so much. Hi, Eskar. Good to see you, baby. How are you? Rach, hello out there in Chicago. Adventures of Nacho. Good to see you. Hey, Chris. I am Dr. Steph. Hello, hello. You guys are so awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Okay, so let's get back to this part of the story, because I love the fact that our character is getting beyond the blockage. This is amazing. And reaching out to someone and just asking their assistance or asking to pick their brain seems like it makes a really big difference. And they wind up accruing some kind of a soulmate. And what happens with that soulmate? That's where we are now. Well, we have a 7 of Swords. Okay, so our lead character, they could be a kind of a shy character, because they might first want to like run, like, oh my god, I've just opened this Pandora's box of like, I reached out to ask somebody for their advice. We kind of had a vibe, and now they kind of want to hang out with me, or they want to get to know me better. And here I was at this weird disadvantage. I reached out to somebody in my moment of need. They were awesome to me, but oh my gosh, they actually like me. This is kind of freaking me out. I almost want to run. That's kind of what it looks like. So I'm wondering if our lead character is like, maybe they're we could have like an empath or somebody who can get like a little bit overwhelmed. They're not used to reaching out for help. They finally, step up to, to ask somebody for their advice or something. And then that person is super kind and actually wants to be around them. And they almost want to split. They almost want to run. But instead they say, I got to handle this differently. You know what? And I want to go back to this card 40. It's standing out to me. I'm wondering if our lead character has really not had a lot of help in their life. You notice how we have the clock on the oak tree here? Almost like it's time that our character, I mean, they've probably been someone who has handled anything that came their way in life their whole life. Maybe they've never really had somebody who was going to be supportive, and maybe it's really foreign to them to finally reach out and ask somebody for their advice. And then it turns out the person that they do reach out to has interest in them. I can see why that would shake up a person who's maybe been pretty autonomous, someone who has not really had maybe a lot of kindness, and someone who's like almost overwhelmed by the fact that they've opened the door to inviting somebody into their life, and they weren't really intending to. They were at a disadvantage when they reached out to someone. So they already felt vulnerable. And now it almost feels like, oh my gosh, now this person wants to be around me and I don't know what to do about it. But no, this is all happening for a reason. It was time that I reach out to someone and actually ask the universe for help, or ask my neighbor for help. Turns out that neighbor wants to take me out to dinner now. I need to not run away from this. I need to do things different. This is a blessing, not a curse. I just think that our lead character, this is a single storyline. This is a single person. And maybe they've been single for a while because they've been through some stuff. So they're not used to kindness. They're not used to reaching out and having someone reciprocate and then pursue them a little. This is unsteady territory for them. 7 of Wands, the Tower, the World, and what is this? The 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. Our single character is not going to be single for so much longer. They still are adapting to the doorway that they have just opened. I'm going to even wager to say this. Whatever the issue was that our lead character was facing, whatever the goblins were that prompted them to then have to go out and seek like expert advice, or reach out to their neighbor, or reach out to someone and say, hi, like, let me put it in this context. Say somebody has a car that is misbehaving and they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to pull over and go stop at some gas station or walk into some automotive shop that I've never even been to. This isn't my neighborhood. I'm just going to have to walk in and say, hi, I don't know what to do. I got this knocking, and I'm not sure if I should be driving it. And what would you advise I do? I'm passing through. I'm not even here in this town. Like, that could be the thing that opens up like unexpected, yeah, especially if somebody's particularly friendly, helpful, kind, you know, it's like, oh, no worries. I'll take a quick peek at it. We'll get you back on your way. And hey, can I get your number? You know, you only live one town over. It could be something along those lines where, you know, we start out at the disadvantage and then we experience some kind of kindness. And that it's almost like the disadvantage happened on purpose. Like the universe put the hurdle there so that we would stumble, so that we would be forced to make that change where we finally reach out and say, I need somebody's help. I'm not used to asking for it, but right now I'm going to have to. And the universe is like, yes, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping that you would reach out. Yell. Thank you. Oh, Yell, is that Noah? That's so cute. I see a little white fluffy kitten. Is that a Siamese? Oh my God, so adorable. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you, Yell. And Aram. This character, it seems like the blockage that they had show up for them. Yes, it made them stumble, but that was like the intent. It was so that our character would start to do things a little bit different. They would maybe not be such an island. Here they are, like facing maybe their own worries of letting somebody back in. We see some serious upheaval. Like, I almost think that maybe our lead character thought for a really long time, nobody's nice, nobody's trustworthy, nobody is somebody that I want to deal with. I want no one in my life. And then sometimes in life, we have those problems and it requires us to interact with others. And that's where our faith gets restored unexpectedly. I almost want to say that this is, I'm not saying that our lead character was like this crusty curmudgeon who was like, I don't like people, I'm never talking to anybody. But I am going to say that the unexpected gentleness, the unexpected was forced into asking for it was exactly the way this was supposed to go, because you notice the world card is here. Everything changes after this. Our lead character changes after this.